Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariana, but you can call me Mari, and today I will be discussing the books I read in November and December. So you've reached this section of the video where I'm going to talk to you about today's collaborators and sponsors, Ana Luisa. And I am super excited to be working with them again. They are an incredible brand. If you don't know about them, here is where I'm going to tell you a little bit about them so you can get to know them as well. They are a jewelry brand that sells jewelry for very affordable prices. They are carbon neutral, which means that all their jewelry is environmentally friendly, including their packaging, which I wanted to show you. I have here this just cute, subtle box where you open it and you get this stunning packaging that is opened magnetically, and you can close it as well. And I've actually kept the packaging because it is so cute and subtle and just easy to have, and just to put it back here and keep it forever. And I absolutely adore the packaging. But another thing that I really love about Ana Luisa is the fact that each piece is original, so that you know that each piece is unique and original, and you can enjoy it for yourself. If you're thinking of getting Ana Luisa, please do check out the description in the little box below, where you can find the link that you can use to get your own. But before I go into the video, I also wanted to show you the ones I have so that maybe you can get inspired and buy a gift for a loved one or a gift for yourself. I just highly recommend this brand if you want to get something nice for yourself or for others. But to show you the ones that I got, I have this beautiful necklace called the Clarice necklace, which is made with little pearls and it's made out of gold. And there's also these earrings I am actually wearing, and I pair them with the Tora silver earrings, but the ones that I got now are called the Frida earrings, which are little hoops and they're just beautiful. And lastly, another one that I also got is called the Elise silver earrings. As you can tell, I really enjoy silver, and they have something for everybody. If you enjoy silver, if you enjoy gold, you can get an Ana Luisa piece for yourself at a very affordable price. So thank you, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring this video. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. Remember, check out the description box below to see the link. And yeah, thank you. Alright, so after that interruption, I will tell you all about the books I read during these months. And there are a total of 5 books, which is not a lot, but I am not being hard on myself for the amount of books I read anymore because life. It's okay if you don't get around to reading 20 books in a month. For me, 5 is just good enough. So the first book I read was Writers and Lovers by Lily King, and I loved this book a lot. I adored it. It's about a girl who's a writer, and it's just about her life. We see a portion of her life through her eyes and things that happen. Of course, there are lovers involved, different people that she meets along the way of her being single and exploring her 30s. I think she was 30, but it was a very good book. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for some literary fiction to read that isn't too hard. And it's one of those books that when I wasn't reading it, I didn't really want to pick it up. But once I picked it up, I didn't want to stop reading it. So it was an interesting experience. I tabbed it quite a bit. And I can share with you one of my favorite quotes from this book, which is, well, actually, I love the opening line of this novel, which is, I have a pact with myself not to think about money in the morning. I'm like a teenager trying not to think about sex, but I'm also trying not to think about sex, or Luke, or death, which means not thinking about my mother, who died on vacation last winter. There are so many things I can't think about in order to write in the morning. And I feel like that just encapsulates everything that this novel has to offer. So if it sounds interesting to you, then I would highly recommend it. And I gave Writers and Lovers 4 stars. Then I read The Soul Bird, El Pájaro del Alma, by Mikhail Snunit. And this was a favorite of mine from childhood, and I hadn't read it in a really, really long time. So I decided to read it again. It's a little children's book, and I absolutely adore it. I find it very, very beautiful and just deep in the way that it shows you how your emotions can be encapsulated, how your emotions are expressed within yourself, and it gives you like a very beautiful perspective on your own emotions and life, and how sometimes when you're not feeling well, there may be something inside you calling out for help, and that you should listen to it rather than try to like shun it away, which is quite nice, I think. So I don't know if this book is being printed anymore, because this is a very old book, but I think it's worth a read, especially for young children. So if you're thinking of gifting a child any type of children's book, this one is just stunning. Then I read The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward, and I really enjoyed this novel a lot. It's a thriller about a girl who loses her sister, and we follow her as she's trying to figure out who did it, and it's a dual perspective. We follow her, and we follow someone who may be or may not be her sister's killer, and we learn a little bit about them and how they interact with each other. And since it's a thriller, I don't really want to go into it. I will say I didn't really enjoy the ending, but that's just my own perspective. It's a plot device that I don't enjoy ever, so just seeing it there made me dislike it a little bit, so it bumped it down from 4 stars to 3 stars, but I give this book 3 stars. Then I read this beautiful, stunning novel, Días de Abandono by Elena Ferrante, called The Days of Abandonment. I finally read it, and as you can see, so this is a bind-up of 3 of her novels, and I read one of them, which is The Days of Abandonment, and as you can see, I tabbed it everywhere. There's one quote here that I keep on going back to because I loved it. If I am able to find it, I will definitely read it to you. I want to find it. Here it is. I'm gonna read it in Spanish because I read it in Spanish. So I'm sorry for my English speaking friends, but I think it's worth a read. So here I go. Me decidí. Ya bastaba con aquel sufrimiento. A las palabras de su felicidad nocturna debía añadir yo las de mi venganza. Yo no era una mujer que se hacía pedazos con los golpes del abandono y de la ausencia, hasta enloquecer, hasta morir. Estaba entera, y entera seguiría. A quien me hace daño le pago con la misma moneda. Soy el 8 de espadas, soy la avispa que pica, soy la serpiente oscura, soy el animal invulnerable que atraviesa el fuego y no se quema. She's just so unhinged. It's about a woman who loses her husband because he leaves her for another woman. And we follow her as she goes insane. Like absolutely crazy. And she's just such an interesting character to follow because we don't see female rage expressed. And you know that my favorite theme in literature is female rage and unhinged women. So when I read this, I was like, yep, this is the book for me. This is my favorite novel. Thank you very much. So I gave it 5 stars and I highly enjoyed it. And you will probably see it in my favorites of this year. Then I read World After, which I don't know where it is. I don't know where I left it. I think I left it over there. Yeah. Alright. Then I read World After by Susan E., which is the second novel in Penryn and the End of the Days trilogy. The first one is Angel Fall, and this one is a sequel. So I'm not going to go in depth into what this book entails. I didn't like it as much as the first one. I think it's because I was missing one of my favorite characters, Raph. And this novel is very much like a filler novel. I feel like it's like the middle slump that we get in the second book, where things happen, and I'm not saying like this is not good. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, but it's not as engaging as the first one, and I feel like a lot of things happen, but at the same time not a lot of things happen. And so I'm waiting to read the third one and see what I think about the whole trilogy, just to get an idea and see if I'm actually right about this book. The first one, Angelful, is about a post-apocalyptic world, and we follow Penryn, who is a girl who is struggling in this world with her mother and her sister, and her sister gets kidnapped at the beginning of the novel. And we learn that the world has been taken by angels. That's why it's called Angelfall. And so it's kind of like urban post-apocalyptic fantasy, but I highly enjoy it. And I highly recommend it. It was very hyped and it was very well known back in the 2000s, and now I feel like I've heard some people talk about it, which is exciting. I like when there's a resurgence of a novel that I actually really enjoyed, and so I wanted to read it again, and so here we are. Then I read Paradise Rut by Jenny Holm, and this one was strange, just very strange, and I couldn't really tell you what it was about. It's about a woman who lives in a house with no walls, and so there's no limit with her roomie, and some things start happening. We get an interaction between these two. It's queer, it's gay, it has a lot of rotten fruit, it has a lot of piss. But unlike some of the other books I've read that have a similar tone, I really enjoyed this, and I think it's because of the writing. I think she has a way of expressing things that is just exquisite. Like, for example, the knocking seemed unnaturally loud. The echoes unrolled slowly, in and out of the sound of the tram tracks and of a car's engine at a nearby multi-story car park. Then it was quiet. So just like the atmospheric idea of sound and of the place itself, the place that they live, that it's almost like its own entity. The house kind of feels alive in a way, and we get descriptions of fruits that are extremely disgusting but also just beautiful in the way that she writes it. And so I feel like the thing that I liked the most about this novel is the writing, and I very much appreciated reading a book about queer women written in such a beautiful way, but having kind of really dark and horrible undertones. So it's not pretty, and it's not a love story. It's just Paradise Rut. I have no other way of describing it. And yeah, I gave this book 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. And I have absolutely nothing else to say about it. And to finish off this quite short video, shorter compared to the other ones I've made, I want to mention the books I'm reading currently. I'm reading I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman, and I am highly enjoying this novel. It's about a group of women who are caged. They are in a cage. They don't know why. It is not explained to us how it happened, why it happened at the beginning. And so we're learning through the perspective of our main character, who is the youngest out of the group, why they are there. And she's starting to discover herself, and I don't want to say anything else because I feel like it's a book that you should go into not knowing much. I only read the back while I was trying to get a sense of the novel, and I'm highly enjoying it so far. I think it's probably going to be on my favorite of this year. So I had a really good reading month. These 2 months have been quite slow on reading, but also I've been reading good books. So it's a win-win for me. And the other book, the other novel, or poetry collection I've been kind of slowly making my way through is Devotions by Mary Oliver. You all know I love Mary Oliver. She's one of my favorite authors of all time, and she is just so good at writing. Period. And I don't think I could say there is one thing I don't enjoy about her poems. I think I like pretty much everything about them, and the naturalistic aspect, the romantic influence that we can see in her poetry, the just like nature in general, the human aspects of it too. Like, for example, I would not want to see your smile diminished, and the flowers, anyway, are happy just where they are, on the pale dunes above the cricket's humble nest, under the blue sky that loves us all. That's the end of a poem called Doesn't Every Poet Write a Poem About Unrequited Love? So it's a poem about unrequited love, but it's quite beautiful because it ends like that. It's just beautiful, absolutely stunning. So I've been making my way through this slowly because I feel like poetry is something that you should consume consciously and not just like read in one sitting. And so that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been reading. And before you click off the video, remember to check out the description down below to get your own very beautiful, affordable piece of jewelry from Ana Luisa. And thank you again for sponsoring this video and collaborating with me again. And I will see you soon with my favorites of this year and my worst books of this year. But until then, I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you're drinking water, that you're staying hydrated, that you're having a wonderful end of the year. I know this season can be quite difficult, and so I'm hoping that you all are staying safe and that you're taking care of yourself. Like, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best for this year, for next year, for all the years to come. I'm very lucky to have you here watching this video, and so if you got to this point, thank you very much. My biggest gift this year has been meeting so many people through BookTube and getting to know you and having this place where I can talk about the one thing that I enjoy most about anything, about life, which is books in general, and just to have a place where I can talk about something I truly love. It's a joy. It's wonderful. So thank you so much for that, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye bye.